Say good morning. Say good morning to the people. Hey everybody, it is Katarina, also known as the ExtraTomboy on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. I am here today to talk to you guys about how to get noticed in the industry as a professional or as a social media influencer. It is always good to have your own personal branding to be out there. The first things first is you need to understand the way of networking and how to network properly. Networking can be done through social media and it can also be done in person. First step of networking that I wanted to talk about was in-person networking. It's always advisable to print out or get some sort of cards. Having a card is a great way to kind of look a little bit professional when you are speaking to a brand, instead of saying, here's my phone, enter in your email address, and like the email address list that you have is already just a super long, ridiculous list. I would go up to a brand and I would say, hi, I'm Katarina, or I'm also known on Instagram as the ExtraTomboy. I have a card for you guys and I'm super interested in integrating with you in the future, and I don't know what you guys have, but I would love to reach out and get to know you after this networking event. When you go and meet someone at a networking event, obviously it'll be really awkward if you just go from the jump of saying, hey, I want to work with you. So imperative to your social media career, if you are a manager or if you are an influencer. Most influencers that I know actually do not utilize this. If you are invited to an event or you are invited to go do something and they are asking to fly you out for free, you should capitalize on that. Also interested in becoming a manager, this is a great tool for you to utilize. I'm going to be putting out literal just tips and tricks for free on here. As far as networking goes, if you are invited to an event, if you are invited to go to Playlist or VidCon or a party or something that includes people that are going to be there, and these types of people that are going to be there could be someone from a brand, it could be someone from YouTube, it could be people that are also influencers themselves. I think that I pretty much covered networking, but to reiterate and close it out in case I didn't, networking can happen at a party, it can happen at an event that you're invited to, it could happen at a convention. Networking can literally happen anywhere that involves an influencer or involves a manager or involves brands. If you are an influencer and you already have a manager, your manager might be amazing and you might love them, but always keep an eye out for who new managers are, what other people can do and what they can offer for you. I always suggest to my clients to keep it with the more like boutique route. I understand that a lot of managers work within a company, but you do need to be aware of managers that operate through an MCN and managers that operate through digital agencies, just because you aren't 100% sure what they can offer you. A lot of times have so many clients that they just don't really care. Step two, or well, my second tip for getting noticed would be social media. If you have a social media, chances are you've probably done this, and this is also falls under the lines of networking. When you're on social media, it is advisable to look up, common hashtags, as well as look up types of influencers of the realm that you would fall under. If they follow you, send them a DM, like get to know these people, because at the end of the day, whether you want to act solo or not, it's always nice to have other people that are like-minded in the same industry as you and get to know them. As a manager, I know other managers mainly because I want to see what they're able to do for their clients. Because if they're able to do it for their clients, that means I'm able to do it for my clients. I also really love keeping in touch with brands, and whoever I deal with at a brand that I end up following on social media. Once you get outside of the emails and you step on the phone with somebody, you really start to become more personable. I, get on the phone with brands and managers. It is so much better to talk to them, to get to know them, to comment on their social media, and to always stay in touch. Because the more that you stay in touch with people, the more that you're on somebody's radar. So, maybe you go to VidCon and you run into one of these influencers. You maybe snap a picture with them. You maybe post it on social media, or maybe they post you on social media. Either way, it's a great way to cross-integrate your brand. That is my advice for number 2 on how to get noticed. Number 3 of how to get noticed is emailing. So when you are emailing people, if you are a manager and you're reaching out to a brand or an influencer because you want to manage them or you want to work with them, you need to study content. You need to study the brand's content, the influencer's content, whatever it may be. You need to know them pretty much inside and out. Especially with influencers, they can smoke screen you so quick. Whenever I would find a client and then I was doing outreach and I was working at a position at a MCN, I would have to spend 4 or 5 hours a day just researching influencers and getting to know kind of like who they were, what they were about, why I wanted to work with them. And like a big thing for me now is if you reach out to me and you want me to manage you, I spend a solid 6 to 8 hours researching you as a person and researching your content to get to know who you are, to see if you match with the influencers that I work with as well as my brand. You are an influencer and you're trying to email a brand. Create a media kit, and you can look up online very easily what a media kit is. Just make either a short 1-page media kit, but at most 2 pages. Basically what you will be disclosing inside of these media kits is a little bit about yourself, what brands you've worked with in the past. If you haven't worked with brands in the past, then basically try to upsell yourself a little bit more. Tell them about where you're from, how you got your fan base, things like that. It'll also include pricing. In little tiny letters, put pricing is negotiable. If you are a manager and you're emailing brands or you're emailing clients, when you get to know and research your clients enough, you're going to then reach out, obviously via email, because they get so many DMs a day, they get so many things like that, so they will prioritize what they think they need, and sometimes the client or potential client will never get back to you. But that's okay, because you're going to continually email other influencers until you do get noticed. When you're emailing a brand and you're trying to pitch one client, don't attach a media kit that has all of your clients in it. Create a simple 1 to 2 page media kit for each of your clients. When you're an exclusive manager and you manage people 360, typically what happens is you take a cut of their AdSense as well as you take a cut from the brand deals that they get. Now, the reason that you take portions of their AdSense is because you are offering more than just here's a brand deal for you. You are helping them out with their merchandise line. You are helping them out with making a website if they need to. You're helping them expand their brand more than just being a YouTuber or just being a person on Instagram. So that is the necessity of taking a portion of how much they make. When you're reaching out to a brand, it's imperative to try and get on the phone with them if you're a manager, mainly because of the fact that getting on the phone with them personalizes you. A lot of the times managers have the tough job where they have to be kind of the asshole in the situation and be rude. When you're working with brands, it's nice to get on the phone with them, and sometimes they don't even want to talk to you on the phone, but if you can try, do it. The fourth thing that I wanted to bring up is posting consistently. This mainly refers to influencers, but can also refer to managers. At the end of the day, your personal brand as a manager is so important, and your personal brand as an influencer is so important. I think that a lot of influencers get it misconstrued that posting content is uploading on your story. That is not content. Content is a picture that lives on your Instagram page or a video that lives on your YouTube. If that makes sense. Posting consistently allows the brand deal floodgates to completely open and allows you to have attention. Consistent posting to a manager and to a brand is posting 2 to 4 times a week. So as long as you're creating content and getting that content out 2 to 4 times a week is the easiest thing for you to do. It is really not that hard to take a picture outside and just keep it moving. So I'm a big advocate on a picture literally takes no more than 2 seconds. You can take it, get good lighting, get it edited, and post it within 20 to 30 minutes maximum. So that is it for posting consistently. If you are a manager, I suggest trying to find some sort of angle for you. For me, I actually really like YouTube. It comes pretty naturally for me. It's not hard for me to talk to the camera for 30 minutes and break it down for you guys on what is necessary to be in this industry and be a key player in this industry. I work work with some of the biggest influencers on the platform for my particular angle, and honestly, it's not very hard to stay consistent in this industry to me. It shouldn't be difficult for you as an influencer, and it definitely shouldn't be difficult for you as a manager. If it's difficult for you to get your clients into brands or into the public eye in certain areas, you just aren't doing your job and you're not working hard enough. If you're not applying yourself as a manager, you aren't working for your client. At the end of the day, like, my job doesn't revolve around my clients, but my job revolves around me being a key player in their lives. And in order to be a key player in their lives, I have to consistently be putting myself in front of people to get to know me, to understand me, to get to know my clients, to get to know my client base. So it's very simple, but it's groundwork that you have to do, and a lot of people don't want to do it. My whole purpose for actually doing this video is extremely important to work with what you have until you can go somewhere else. So the nice thing about talent management is it kind of gives you an intro into different angles of this industry. You, from here, if you started out as a talent manager and you realize you don't like it, you can go in influencer marketing, you can go into marketing as a whole, you can go into some other brand aspect of the industry, and you wouldn't have to work with influencers directly. You can just basically plug and play and have them in installments and integrations, and you would already have the connections to influencers to be able to do so. And this is the last thing on my list of ways to get noticed, is creating your own personal and professional image, which I actually kind of just talked about branding a little bit, but branding is going to be a common theme on my channel, as it is the most important thing you can possibly do as an influencer, as a brand, an influencer, creating your personal and professional image. Your personal image is going to be 1000% different than your professional image. You are going to be this way on social media. You are going to be a completely opposite way when you're being professional. Studying how to talk to people is very important for influencers, because you got famous off of the internet, so you don't really know how to talk to people properly. Understanding proper ways of typing, proper ways of writing emails, proper ways of getting on the phone, and kind of practicing that and using that in your day-to-day spiel. If you are a manager, your brand, your personal brand and your professional brand needs to be the exact same thing. You can't be an influencer on one side and then be a manager on the other. You need to be one or the other. You could be a manager turned influencer, that's totally fine. However, it is going to be a lot easier for you to brand yourself as a professional and brand yourself as a manager as well as an influencer. So I do have a friend of mine who was an influencer. I did used to manage her, and she became a manager. She's able to do this because her personal branding, her page is professional, it's clean, it looks nice. So that is kind of where I'm going with it. I'm not supposed to be educational. With that being said, thank you guys so much for paying attention to this kind of like series that I have going on, and I appreciate you for just taking the time and listening to me. Again, my name is Katarina, also known as the ExtraTomboy. You can go ahead and like and subscribe down below. Go ahead and don't forget to click those bell notifications and keep updated for my weekly posts. Thanks so much, everybody.